Wow, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Stardust Show, powered by Radio Works World. I have the privilege, the absolute privilege of introducing you tonight, my co-host, Victor, who broadcasts from London. Over to you, Victor.
Yeah, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning. Depends on where you are in the world. And thank you so much for joining us. It's going to be a wonderful time. A few minutes we're going to spend together, sharing my story and more about myself and my mission and what I've been working on so far to inspire people all around the world.
So Victor, tell us what brought you here. I know a little bit of your story, so I don't want to share too much. I want you to tell us what brought you where you are right now in your life.
Well, what brought me where I am, I think, has been driven by my love, passion, and my belief in taking responsibility. When I see a problem, when something is wrong, I don't believe in waiting for other people to fix, solve it, or try and play around it. If you don't like it, I believe, take responsibility and fix it. And I believe I've been brought this far too because I believe in integrity. I believe in protecting my name and finding my purpose and delivering what I've come to do here on earth. I grew up in a mediocre environment, because most speakers and people who tell you stories of their lives where they were either they were very poor and then they became rich. But in my own case, I never really experienced poverty as such, but I experienced mediocrity on the highest level. So it ate into my body, but it got to a point where I realized that if I want to inspire people, if I want to change the world, if I want to contribute to the world, the only thing I can do is to break that mediocrity, step out, and transform myself first, and then begin to transform other people all around me. And even if it's one person at a time, I felt it was really important. I'm better off doing something than doing nothing at all. So I think mainly that's what brought me here, because of my passion, my love to break, because most people live in that mediocre world. They love being the moth, but they're not willing to break out and become that beautiful butterfly that they could actually be.
Victor, tell me, I know it's never easy to make a change, not even perhaps for people who made it, who are out there, who are teaching millions
Yeah,
to transform their life. And
yeah,
entrepreneurs, mostly entrepreneurs in Western countries, are now to a point where they realize there is more to life than just chasing the next big goal,
yeah,
than just buying the next big house, than
yeah,
just committing yourself to the next big luxury holiday. And
yeah.
there is more. What is your view on transformational change? What that really means?
Well, to me, it means taking yourself from one process to another. Because mainly, like my logo is actually a butterfly, which I strongly believe in the transformation. But the most important thing is, I don't believe that you have to arrive at where you're going to before you can inspire other people to actually join the journey. Because I believe that everybody has an opportunity to inspire somebody else. You see, so in as much as whatever I do, I always ask myself, is it positive? Does it inspire anybody in any way? And that's always my game. You see, even if I put a post on Facebook, on Instagram, whatever I do, I'm thinking, how does that help somebody else? If I'm going to tell somebody something, I always think to myself, is it positive? So if it's not positive information, I'm thinking, what's the point telling the person? Why do I want to create fear in somebody's heart or mind? You see, so I believe that in life, I know we pursue different things, the goals, the money, and whatever it is. But I think at the end of the day, I think we're all here to serve. And I think that's the most important thing. So if you serve people, you serve them well, all those other things will definitely follow you. Because that one I can guarantee. Sometimes it's tough, as you said. Sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes you even wonder, what am I doing? Who even asked me to do this in the first place? Why am I even bothered? But the fulfillment you get within you most of the time, when people come and say to you, Victor, thank you so much for coming to my town. Victor, thank you so much for inspiring me. I think that fulfillment is enough to give you the energy and the strength to continue to pursue that purpose.
So for yourself is all about creating and delivering value
Yeah,
and being present, realizing that there is no better time than right now. But
yeah.
tell us more about your story, about the top three challenges you had to overcome to be where you are right now.
Well, I think the top challenge is the fact that most of the work I started was mainly in Nigeria. And I decided that I needed to, it was a country which is full of resources, both people, human resources, and natural resources. And I looked at it thinking, okay, I live in the UK, and the thought is, I am Nigerian through and through. And I'm thinking, well, I might have been born, I mean, not, I was born in the UK. I mostly grew up in Nigeria. And when I moved back to the UK, I've been here for some time. So I can, within myself, I can choose not to do anything at all, because whatever happens in Nigeria doesn't really affect me now, because my wife lives here, my kids live here. So sometimes do you think, why do I even bother? But I felt for that love and passion for the place, I felt, you know what, I need to go out there. So my biggest challenge was, you know, you really want to do something. Where do you really start from? But I think the biggest lesson I learned from it was the fact that I just thought, you know what, I have to do something. So I just stood up and I just went. I've been there quite a few times before then, but when I went with that purpose and with that goal, I was absolutely amazed at how I began to connect with people. You know, because people I'd never met before. And anyone I told what I wanted to do keyed into you straight away. And I know there's a lesson there for anyone listening, because you think there's so much you want to do, it's so big, and you're thinking, nearly 200 million people, how are you going to transform them? And that's what people even said to me, Victor, what are you doing? Do you think you can do anything? And my answer has always been, which was my second challenge, you know, my answer has always been, you know what, it is one person at a time, I will get through one day. But I'm not going to sit down and watch. I'm going to do something about the situation. And that's how I stepped in and carry on going. Thirdly is a distance, because obviously trying to do things, to travel out there, to travel back. You know, I've had times in which I've had to be in Nigeria for 2 days. You know, so I would fly in and then fly back out after 2 days. It could be very tiring and very challenging. But the interesting thing is, I just keep going, because I think the results I'm getting, the people I'm getting to meet, you know, the networks I'm building, you know, and I'm seeing those results, I think it's absolutely amazing that I don't think it's time for me to stop now. In fact, I think I've just started, basically.
So must be a very good feeling that it's taking over your vision, thinking, oh my God, I did not even scratch the surfaces of who I could be.
Yeah.
And most of the time, for entrepreneurs who are, in my opinion, the ones who are keep the economy going, they are the blood, the energy that goes through the veins of this big body called society. I think they must have a big heart, and I know you do have a big heart. You are an entrepreneur um, with big dreams and big thoughts, and you got a lot of empathy, and you know that is not easy. But right now in 2017, we still have couple of months. It's end of September. People start thinking about winter, and winter used to be a great reason to celebrate. And I remember as a child, each season got something to celebrate, and actually my childhood was full of celebrations. But most people cannot think of tomorrow, what's happening tomorrow. Today, a big entrepreneurial idea was declined, was not was declared illegal. The license for Uber, for example, was removed. Was a chance for me to think that this is a good idea. I traveled the world myself during my book tour for 3 years, and I always use Uber, and the drivers are always people who think, people who want more, and they could be more. And I help a lot of them writing their books, and they're sharing their story, their passion. So it is a bit of for me, it's a reason to think, is it really worth it going to the big game with the big shoes? What chances an entrepreneur got right now at the end of 2017 to think, I have a big idea. I want a lot of people to benefit. I want to create and deliver value. And turning yourself from a heart-centered entrepreneur into a big brand is never easy. And it's going to shock you perhaps, but I think racism, unfair competition, there are words that come into play at this stage. Because who are you as an entrepreneur, which means you are the one, you don't have offices, you don't have a lot of people to support your vision. Who is there for you? How do you deal with this doubt? You said at the beginning that sometimes you wonder, why are you bothering yourself with this big effort, because it is hard work, knowing that at the end of the day, when your idea grows, somebody is either going to steal it of you or close it down. What is your view on what happened today on the court's decision to close down a good thing? And I know it's disputable, and I know yesterday morning, for example, I was waiting for Uber to come and pick us up, going to a meeting, and our order has been canceled twice because they couldn't stop. So somebody came, a big guy came, and he got a little label on his jacket just saying taxi, as if he's the government or something, somebody, and escorted us away from that location. And for 500 meters till we stopped for the next place where they spot, so he could pick us up, the Uber could collect us. He was um, basically attacking us with vicious remarks and incredible fact that if I didn't know any better, I would perhaps believe about Uber and how bad they are. When actually Uber helped me personally, and I know help a lot of people. I remember I was taking a friend of mine to hospital many times, and if it wasn't for Uber, I wouldn't be able to help them. And many times I'm thinking of my family. I'm thinking of people who live in central London. They can't really have a car because there's nowhere to park, but they have children, and they rely their livelihood, let alone the 40,000 drivers working for you, but on this service. And a lot of people are going to buy a lot of cars now, so welcome to pollution in 2017. And a lot of other people are going to be affected by this decision. But I think the whole idea is that that is a question mark about your big idea. Now it's almost like, yes, I'm going to make it big, I'm going to make it, I'm going to work hard, I'm going to give it all I have. And you have a lot as a heart-centered entrepreneur. And then somebody comes in and said, you know what, we are the big shoes. We decide your future. We decide who is allowed to have a big idea, who is allowed to do business. So from that point of view, I just wonder, what is your view on what had happened today in London?
Well, my personal view is I think it's only an obstacle because Uber as itself is a powerful and innovative idea, which I think is really, really great. And I've used Uber to myself quite a lot of times. Even when I go to Nigeria, I use Uber all the time out there. And I think it's absolutely great. And in as much as maybe they're being pushed out of London, they are actually in other parts of the UK too. And also they are in other parts of the world. So it's not really the end of them completely. It's only London to start with anyway. But secondly, I don't think we've seen the end of it because I think there's a petition going around for people asking as in to sign, so at least it can go and then they can fight back on whatever is going on. But I believe that the key thing is whatever we're doing, we're going to face obstacles, whichever way it is. Because whatever you do, you're going to find somebody who's either going to discourage you or try to stand in your way or try to push you out of the way. Yes, we are all aware of that. But I think as human beings, sometimes we create limitations that don't even exist at all. You see, so, and I believe that Uber is going to come out of this a lot stronger than it actually started, because now it's going to be clear to them that if this can happen in London, then it could happen anywhere else. So their strategy is going to change now on how they actually operate and how they actually do things to avoid these kind of situations in other parts of the world too. So this happening in London, I think, is like giving them a bigger and a better idea. So if you look at it, it's a matter of seeing the positive in the whole game. Because you think, okay, if this is happening in London now, what if the US decides to come up with something else? Or what if Abuja in Nigeria decides to come up with something else? Or what if, different parts of the world? So I'm pretty confident that this is only a stepping stone for them. because the dependence on Uber in London is very, very big. And London is quite a large city. So I'm confident that they're going to pull through it. So even as entrepreneurs or people who are coming up or whatever you're fighting for your passion in life, whatever you're trying to do, there will be obstacles, definitely. There will be times in which you think to yourself, why did I, as I said earlier, why did I even start this whole thing? But it's always a stepping stone. There's always a learning from it. And the one confident thing I can always say is you always come out bigger and better on the other side. It could be tough. It could go on for a long time sometimes. Sometimes even one day, why is it taking so long? But if you stay on and carry on going, I am confident that it's time for you to review strategies and rebuild yourself and be ready for the next level.
So you are saying that as an entrepreneur, you have the moral duty to stand up for your dream. You have the strength, the courage, and the confidence, and that is not coming only once a week. That becomes your way of life. That becomes you. You become your passion. You become your big idea. You become the universe you've been praying for, the miracle you've been waiting for. And really what you are saying is that you really have to stop and face the fear and step into the fear. And you could then say again, I lived through this. I learned from it, and I'm grateful for what had happened to me because that had happened for me. And many times is about strength, is about unity of um, people who believe in big dreams, and they believe in supporting each other. Unfortunately, as an entrepreneur, you are always facing a different reality when stepping outside your um, little space. So when you start growing, that seed that was so hard to grow and start showing some bearing fruits, seems that everybody, it's almost like you are exposed to all the storms and all the elements. So how do you protect yourself from all these elements, socially, emotionally, when comes to protecting your dream?
Well, one of the key things I do is I'll put it this way, I live in the now. You see, because I focus on what I need to do. I carry on doing what I need to do. I'm aware of the troubles that are going to come around, because just like if you're driving down the motorway, you're driving carefully because you're aware that there's other drivers around who maybe might not see you or do crazy things. So you're prepared. But I'm not thinking about having an accident, but I'm aware that there's a possibility. You see, so I know one key thing is if you have that dream and that focus, that vision, and you're 100% confident about it, and you say, you know what, this is what I want to do. I know this is my calling. I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing in this world. Once you kick off and you start following that line and you focus on it, it's amazing how every other thing on this earth begins to work for you. And that's what actually happened to me. You see, because as I said to you, when I got to Nigeria, I more or less didn't know anybody I could work with to even organize an event. But I was shocked when I just met somebody, and the best thing straight away told me about somebody else who I spoke to on the phone. We met the same evening, and that's how everything started from there. You see, and that's one thing I didn't even expect. But I know it was because I decided this is what I wanted to do, this is what I wanted to follow, and I was amazed at how everything just fell into place. So I think whatever the obstacle is, even as an entrepreneur or anything you do, I am very confident that as long as you know, and know the thing is also about your heart. Because you see people do things sometimes and you actually watch them and think, why are they doing this? Or what is making them do this? And then when you realize that if they're doing it for their own selfish interest, if they're doing it not for the right reasons, if they're doing it to hurt other people, then you realize that it's going to fail. Because you realize you will not feel that reality in the whole thing. There's no empathy, there's no compassion. You just think, you know what, they only need to get some money and walk away. They're not interested in you. You understand? So I look at things like that, and that's why they always wonder, oh, why is it not working? But the question always becomes, yes, it's not working because other people might not be able to see what's in your heart. But you know what? It always comes out eventually. So if you're real to yourself and you're true and you're doing this for the right reasons, everything always works out. Yes, it's going to be tough, but it always works out.
Wow, so I love your passion, and I know that you, more than anyone I met so far, believe in strength, and the fact that the source for your strength is not coming from winning. Definitely is coming from your experiences and from your hardship, but not surrounding your dream, not becoming hostage of your own dream, not allowing depression to take over. It is a tall, it's a tall order. It's not easy, and it's not. So what would be a key message for our listeners tonight? What would be your key message for people who may have or may not have a dream at present, but even if they had one in the past, they gave it up. They took it to an early grave even before it was born, even before it become a clear vision to be turned into reality. What is your key message, Victor?
But my key message will always be to follow your dreams, because I think one thing is people don't realize is once you begin, I know it's amazing, because this is one story I'll tell all the time. Once you start, you'd be amazed at how things begin to fall into place. And because most people don't even have the fear, they find, but it's the sort of think, why should I ever start? And sometimes most people don't start because they're thinking they're waiting for the perfect time. And as far as I'm concerned, there's no perfect time. You see, so because all they're going to do is keep procrastinating today, tomorrow, next tomorrow. So anyone that is listening and they're thinking, you know what, I want to do this thing, but I'm waiting for the right time. There's no right time. And the most important thing too is one thing that can pull you in to actually start doing it, which is one thing I learned from Tony Robbins. He said, once you decide, commit, either tell somebody about it, or even make a Facebook video about it, tell the world about what you're actually going to do. You see, but once you told the world what you're going to do, now they're going to hold you accountable to make sure you actually do it. So, and then in that case, you got no choice but to be committed. You need to drive yourself to the point of no return. You see, because when I started traveling up and down Nigeria and all the work I was doing, I realized that I had to take myself to a point of no return. Because sometimes if you're at that point of no return, just like a plane on the runway, it gets to a point where it has to take off. If it doesn't take off, it's not going to have any more runway. So that means it's going to end up crashing. So you don't want to crash, you want to carry on. So once you've committed yourself and you got to that point of no return, you'd be amazed at how everybody else sees that passion and that drive in you, and they'll be willing to contribute and actually help you. Because as long as you help yourself and you step out and start, you'd be amazed at how the world comes together. Everyone around you begins to help you. Because when I started, I was thinking, okay, fine, I'm only going to work in Nigeria. But I was shocked when I was getting calls to do things in London too. I even went to Albania to MC the Global Women's Summit out there too. And these are things I never even expected to even happen. Because as far as I was concerned, I was thinking, okay, fine, I am a transformational speaker. I'm going to focus on Nigeria. I'm going to stay there. But I didn't realize that I was actually going to go international. So I've actually gone bigger than I even anticipated and even thought. Because I focused and I decided, I'm going to do this. There's no going back on it. And I've got to the point now where I'm thinking there's no going back anymore now. I just have to keep going forward. Because if I stop now, that means I wasted all the time and energy I put into it right from the beginning. And so the most important thing is getting yourself to get committed. You have that dream, you have that vision, you want to step out, find a way of committing yourself to it. Even in news by just telling one person who's going to hold you accountable. If I'm most importantly, I'll say to you, you know what, invest in a coach. I think that's even the best thing. Because once you've invested in a coach, you paid money to someone to hold you accountable and to bring out all the passion out of you as a coach. You'd be amazed that every day, even if you begin to go down, you think, you know what, I paid a lot of money there. I need to do something about it. And you'd be amazed at how everything begins to change. Because the money you paid becomes your commitment. And you can't afford to waste that money. So you will have to keep moving forward.
Well, perhaps the question is, I love your passion, and I love the way you feel. This is not easy, it's not comfortable, but you have to dare, you have to endure, you have to swim against the tide if needed, but you have to decide what is that you want. But I was wondering, what is happening in your life right now as a transformational entrepreneur, as a leader with purpose, because you lead your life with purpose. And this is all that takes for somebody to feel leadership. And a lot of people, we are listening to a lot of people lately who were elected in a position of leadership, and they are not congruent with their purpose. A couple of months ago, they were wearing different colors. Now they change it, and it's okay. Nobody feels that is not normal. Nobody feels that, come on, they said something else a few months ago. How on earth they turn 180 degrees and they're saying the opposite right now? And I just wonder what is in your life right now and is happening as a result of you being congruent with your passion, with your purpose, and is amazing, and you want us to be part of it.
Well, at the moment, I decided that I was going to move myself to the next level. So I got a new coach, and we started working together. And one of the key things that he's actually very strong about is actually waking up early and having exercise. And sometimes I have to wake up very early because I live in Milton Keynes and I get into London. And I used to make those excuses, oh, it's a bit too cold or whatever it is. So maybe even if I exercise in the morning, maybe I'll do it once or twice a week, 3 times sometimes. But we've got a point where he holds me accountable now. I've got to wake up nice and early, 4:30. I've got to send him a message to say I am awake. And then I go out for my morning run, the 5 kilometers. Then I come back, I get ready, and I carry on with my day. And I think it's actually been very, very amazing. I've enjoyed it so much that, in fact, I was even awake. I've been awake since 2:30 this morning. You see, and I'm still awake and I'm still talking to you. And once I come up, finish talking to you now, I'm actually heading to London again because I've got a meeting at which I should be there for about 7:30, 8 o'clock. So it's been a continuous busy day. But I'm amazed at what I can share people to join me on the journey is that, you know, sometimes you do stop and you get to a stage where you feel maybe you plateaued. Okay, fine, I've done this now. What more can I do? But there's always room to expand yourself and to push yourself. So it's been a wonderful journey that I've been on for the last few weeks now. And I've been pushing myself, not extra now. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm trying to break myself out of the fine. You've done this whole time now. There's still room to push for more. And that's where I am in my life now, saying to myself, Victor, it's time for you to push for more. You know, I'm working on writing my book now, which I'm going to start very soon too. I've got all the ideas put together. I'm going to just start typing them all out. I'm preparing that too. You see, so these are all the things that are pushing me to the next level, to push more. You see, so I want to encourage anybody else who's watching too. You might have said, okay, fine, I've done this, I've done that, but there's still room for you to push for more. There's still time for you to say, okay, fine, I've reached this level now. It's time for me to climb up to the next one. And it takes a lot of push to actually do that. And it has been a massive push for me because it's been unbelievable. In fact, I'm actually surprised at myself that I can actually do this. I didn't realize I had it all in me, but it's all coming out. And I believe there's still room for more to actually come out to.
So I understand that taking responsibility for your gift, for your natural talent, is really a breaking point. Is the time in your life when you think this is what I want, or maybe this is not what I want. But when I decide that this is what I want, I mean, I go all in, and there is no looking back. And this transformational journey you experience yourself is the very proof that actually humans are extraordinary beings, and as long as they stay both human and kind, it's scope for limitless. There is more. There is always more, because you found that place of abundance within yourself. And the more you give, the more you have. But just remember, the most valuable asset each one of us holds is your time. So using your time, making your time your best ally, making your time your best friend is always a good start when you are an entrepreneur. And I remember myself before I retired, I was always on target, pushing myself, and then I collapsed when I retired because I stopped pushing, you know. So I had no idea what to do next or what to do with myself. Actually, I wasn't well. I was really left with no energy, and nobody could see or understand what's wrong with me. But I think what my understanding is that along the way you learn so many things. You sign up for so many courses, for so many programs, for so many projects, and yet there is one project one science, one topic, one program that you are ignoring as an entrepreneur, and that is the knowledge and the art, the science of being you. Who do you are? Who knows you? Who knows you could be? You are quotable. You said so many things here, Victor, that are a quote for anybody else. Yeah. So knowing that you yourself, you deserve to be learned and studied is a great feeling. Is something that actually opens a different level, opens a different gate. Is this emotional intelligence that could take you places that you never even imagined, like you said. And having your heart in the right place, I think, is the number one thing to remember when you are you are an entrepreneur. And being an entrepreneur doesn't necessarily mean is all business, it's all figures, because the most important or the most beautiful goal I ever had is not exterior. It's nothing to do with earthly goals. It's nothing to do with the big house, the big car, the big holiday. It's actually a very internal process. And making your goal to learn who you are, to learn that once you remove your limiting beliefs, once you remove social conditioning and all the breaks that are keeping you hostage into a life without purpose, then everything changes. Well, once you change the way you look at yourself, the way you see yourself, and I'm really, really happy to confirm once again and congratulate you for being nominated for the Stardust Awards. And surely I hope to greet you on the red carpet, and you'll be able to share from there with us your biggest dream. From both of us, until next time, you are Stardust. Goodbye.
Thank you very much.